We took a flight to Bahrain from New Delhi and then arrived in Istanbul in about 24 hours from our home in Chandigarh. I did this trip with my mother and my brother. It was a much awaited trip as we were planning it since a long time. We reached our hotel on Istiklal Street. It was known as Sentire Hotel. We were not satisfied with the hotel and we do not recommend this one. It had great ratings but it lacked in basic facilities, although it was quite clean. We stayed there for 4 days before we drove to Cappadocia. This was the view from our hotel. This is Istiklal Street. It was evening when we checked in, so after getting fresh, we went down to explore Istiklal Street and ate dinner and tried some foods. It was fascinating to see that the shop was established in 1777. Here in Turkey, or I should say Istanbul or Istiklal Street, you'll find many such shops and the crowd is decent and they are open round the clock. Istiklal Street is one of the most happening places in Turkey. I really like the ambience of the area and it is vibrant throughout the day and night. You will find many businesses open here round the clock. We were at an advantage that we booked Sentire Hotel because it was right on the Istiklal Street. After sleeping, I was feeling a little better because the travel was too hectic and it took me a few days to recover from it, while sightseeing in Istanbul was hectic itself. The simit bread was one of the yummiest things I tried in Turkey. This delicacy is not to be missed as it is economical and very yummy. These are the heritage trams you'll find in some parts of Istanbul. We did not have a pleasant experience with Istanbul's underground metro. We tried to purchase tickets from this machine. Our card was swiped and money was deducted, but we did not get the tickets and the staff simply did not help us. After struggling, we finally met a local who guided us to the right metro station, which was not underground, and he went with us to the station, and it was a kind gesture and we were thankful. I did not have a good experience at the Blue Mosque. First, because I found it quite okayish. Secondly, I had to take a scarf from the mosque, and while going back I took a selfie with the mosque. I don't know why the guard thought that I am stealing the scarf and going away, so he kind of spoke with me in a rude way. While we were there, it had started raining. We enjoyed tea and coffee at one of the open air coffee shops. There were many of them in the area. This is the famous Hagia Sophia Mosque. We got to know that for non-Muslims there was a hefty ticket to enter the premises. Hagia Sophia was not included in the museum pass. I had too many simits when I was in Istanbul. And that was the famous Topkapi Palace that we had skipped. Personally, I found Hagia Sophia a little overhyped and also overpriced. It was a little overwhelming to finally see such a place that I had read about for so many years. Even then, I do not really recommend this attraction unless you are coming here for religious purposes. And after a lot of searching, we did find vegetarian and vegan in the Sultan Ahmad area. And we were happy to find our traditional kanji here. You will also find dried flower teas and soap that Turkey is known for. I found these quite interesting. Istanbul is full of such baklava and tea shops. Some of them are quite historical and they have been existing for more than a couple of 100 years. You will find an awesome variety of baklava, but if you're vegan like me, then you will not find much here. Please confirm a few times before buying anything if you're vegan. After buying tickets worth $100 approximately for 3 people, we visited Dolmabahce Palace on our third day in Istanbul. The palace had a beautiful garden, but it was not worth the ticket money in my opinion. Photography was not allowed, so I was not able to film inside the palace. But I was disappointed when I saw that others were hiding their phones and filming while the staff was ignoring them. They just stopped a few people and others were free to do whatever they wanted. The palace is a decent tourist attraction, but it is not worth the hype. While we were there, it had started drizzling and it was quite cold. This was a nice spot to admire the Bosphorus Strait. And I love grey skies, so the scene was quite memorable for me. The exterior of the palace was quite decent for photography. We clicked many photos here. I recommend you to wear very comfortable shoes if you're coming to the palace because you will be walking a lot and you will end up very tired. It was also disappointing to see that they charged so much for the ticket, yet the washrooms were not maintained. The palace definitely takes you back in time. After too much of walking at the palace, we were really hungry. So we went to this vegan restaurant known as Vegan Masa via a cab. It was about 10 minutes drive from the palace and we recommend this place as it was pocket friendly. It was a relief to find a vegan restaurant because we were not worried there about having egg, dairy or meat in our food. Have a look at their open kitchen. They have this parantha like this and that is the Turkish version of pizza. That is their oven. Basilica cistern was built in the 6th century by a Byzantine emperor. We explored the Basilica cistern at night. The ticket price was a little higher for night time, but we did not have to stand in any queues. Istanbul has hundreds of such ancient cisterns under the city, and Basilica Cistern is the largest of them all. It was an interesting attraction. This place has also been featured in one of the James Bond movies known as From Russia with Love. The Basilica cistern used to supply water to the great palace of the Constantinople. We were happy to know that our ticket included a whirling dervishes performance. I found it a little underwhelming. And this is how they serve clay pot dishes in Istanbul with so much of drama. After all that show, I was expecting the dish to be spectacular, but it was just okay. Baklava is everywhere in Istanbul, and in the end, we really got fed up of seeing this. But it was nice to see so many types of baklavas, although we did not really find vegan baklava that much. I mean, we found them, but the variety was lesser. The taste of the baklava was okay, and this is a nice souvenir if you want to take something back home for your loved ones. Eating baklava every day made me fed up of it, but I miss it sometimes. And you will also find Turkish delight in most of the baklava shops. This is not your regular sweet, it tastes a bit different. So I suggest you should try some and then buy. I did not taste these chocolates as they were made using egg. These are also very popular in the souvenir shops. These are not regular teas, but dried fruits, flowers, and spices. When you're buying tea, be careful because sometimes they just give you herbs. It does not even have any tea leaves in it. So if you want that, then check it first. You will also find many types of spices here in Istanbul, and I do recommend their traditional spice mixes. Dry fruit is of really good quality in Turkey, and I do recommend buying some dried apricots and figs and anything else that you like. You can also buy these traditional coffee cups or tea glasses. Coffee lovers can also buy these traditional coffee makers. But the key here is to go for shops that are reasonably priced. The mosque was not that impressive as a tourist destination, and I recommend you to skip this one unless you are coming here for religious purposes. But this one and Blue Mosque were free of cost, and Hagia Sophia had a ticket. So, if you're a non Muslim like me, I recommend you to visit Hagia Sophia. If you really want to visit a mosque, or you can visit the Blue Mosque. Or you can visit the Blue Mosque first, which is free, and if you really like going there, you can visit other mosques. It depends on person to person. Also, our cab driver dropped us really far away, and we had to do a kind of hike to climb on this hill where this mosque is located. So it was a bit tiring for us, and we were not prepared for it. And please don't take offense, I'm just telling my experience as a tourist. I'm not trying to hurt anyone's religious sentiments. We walked out of the mosque and somehow reached this market where there were some reasonably priced fixed price shops, and we did some shopping from there. The Grand Bazaar was one of the most overhyped places ever. I'm sorry to sound so negative, but I'm just being honest. It is supposed to be such a legendary market, but I did not buy even a single thing from here because I did not really like anything that was on display, and I mean, it was too touristy for me. I'm sure there must be much better shopping areas in Istanbul than this. And it was full of these copies of brands, and it was overpriced also, just like most of the places in Istanbul. And I was delighted to see this iftari preparation because it was Ramzan. Are you an olive lover like me? If yes, then don't forget olives. Go to a local grocery store and buy for home. On our fifth day in Istanbul, we checked out from a hotel and rented a car from Istanbul and drove towards Cappadocia. It was a Volkswagen Passat, which is a mid-size car. We opted for it because we had loads of luggage and it had a bigger boot than a normal car. The bridge you can see in the video is Bosphorus Bridge that connects Asia and Europe. I always wanted to come here. We all loved this experience of road tripping in Turkey because of the well-maintained roads, the discipline, and the safety. It was a beautiful 9-hour journey and we did not face any problem. Because we were driving, we saw more of Turkey than we would have by air. The road trip was one of the best parts about our Turkey holiday. We found the highways very safe and the police was not troublesome like in our own country. Soon we were greeted by snow-capped mountains. In Turkey, highway outlets were really nice. There were coffee shops. Unfortunately, it was a little difficult to find vegan food there, but we really liked the hygiene of those places and also the vibe. This lady prepared an amazing vegetarian wrap for us. A tip I would give you is to carry your medicines from home because it's not easy to find pharmacies here in Turkey. You will find them, but they are not everywhere like in other places like Dubai. We had booked this resort known as Hera Cave Suites. It was in Goreme. It was quite close to the main square of Goreme. Cars are not allowed inside the resort. There is no place for parking inside. But if you check this property's online listing, it will mention a car park. It was quite chilly, around 3 degrees when we reached there at night. When it comes to hot air ballooning, every day is a surprise because you get to know about the status of the flight instantly on that same moment or maybe the night before, and we were told that ours was cancelled and we had to book it again. This happens because of the weather. No one can predict how windy will it get, so they don't take any chances. And some people, even after spending so many days in Cappadocia, are unable to go for a hot air balloon flight because of their bad luck. Keep watching my vlog to know what happened with us when it comes to the hot air ballooning experience. And while checking in, I met this fellow guest of the property, or maybe a permanent resident.